So who inspires me is my cousin Susie. She was born in 1960 with Down syndrome. And if you can imagine what it was like back then, it was really hard for someone to move forward. But our family was really strong, and we encouraged her to do everything that she could do. And she had the willpower. She went to the Achievement Center, and from a young age, she was older than me. I looked up to her as a role model. I can't imagine what she could have done if she was born in the 80s, when she could have gone to school and graduated, because I think that she could have been much more. So everything I've done in my career, in my life, has been based around my cousin Susie. The thing that has helped me in my path to success is God. I have a strong faith. I believe that He puts everybody on this earth to have a purpose, and I think that He put me here to help people, and that's what's in my heart. Is I always want to help people and help them to achieve their best. The person who has attributed to my success would be my dad. I'm his only girl, and he always, and I was always little, a little spunky thing, but he really pushed me to be who I am today. And then a role in my success would be my two boys. Being a mom has been the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I try to be the best role model I can be. I stress to them that they need to have empathy, that they need to care for others, that they need to take care of people. I feel that all three of those things have helped me in my path in my career. I was stranded on an island. What three things would I take with me? Number one, Donny Osmond. Hands down, Donny Osmond is my dream man. So he would be coming with me. Number two, anybody who knows me knows that I can't even walk to the mailbox without makeup on, so I would take my makeup box. The third thing I would take with me is my husband. And the reason why I would take my husband is because he's the most resourceful person I know. So he's gonna build the lodging for Donnie and I, and he's gonna kill the animals, and he's gonna feed, he's gonna find the food and stuff, and he's gonna be happy doing that just to provide for me and Donnie. So those are my three things.
What inspires me, I feel, is my desire to make a difference. I feel it really gives me a sense of purpose. And it's easy with the Trinity Rose Foundation because I know I'm making a difference for the families that we help that have a child that is blind. And I know even at Philpott, where I'm the corporate controller, that I am making a difference. I never wanted to be an accountant that just recites what happened last month. I want to be a strategic partner, helping to lead the company toward growth and success. And even with those that I work with and those that I manage, I want to make a difference with them. And I hope that with my positive attitude and my enthusiasm, that I'll give them the courage to grow professionally as well. Well, I think there are three things that keep me going. I think it's courage, my reflection, and support. So with courage, when I face something that's stressful, I'll know that I worked really hard to get where I am. And I think there's a mantra that I say, and my daughter says it as well, and I don't know if she got it from me or I got it from her, but it's let's do this. And it's really a time where I focus and I gather up my strength and I face my fear. Second is reflection. And when I'm facing something that's taking a long time, or especially with the foundation when things are really piling up and I feel I just can't handle it anymore, I get a thank you letter from a family, or I get an email, or I read an application from a family in need, and I know it's where I need to be. And lastly is support. And when we heard the diagnosis of Trinity, my husband and I knew that we had each other to get through this. And we have a wonderful, loving family and friends, and we knew we had the support group. And I have it even at work. We had a devastating blow to a project about a month ago, and I was upset, but a teammate said to me, "But Stacy, we can do this." And it's funny because she said the same words that I've been telling the team for a few months. So that was nice. I could not live without my Friday night margarita. So every night I get home, well, every Friday night I get home, my husband has the shaker ready, and the kids even know what night it is because they hear it.
I would tell my 20-something-old self that having patience will get them far. Because that was one of the things, I think, when you are young, you want everything now, and I think that patience would be one. Secondly, I think time heals, because a lot of times things happen and you're like, it's the end, this is it, I can't go on anymore. But time will heal everything. And then one of the most important things is to cherish each day, because sometimes we get into a situation where we think, okay, oh, I've got to think ahead of what's going on next week and the week after, but we don't cherish what we have right now, the here and the now. As a deputy sheriff that I am, a lot of times things do happen, and sometimes very bad things. We may come across an accident, and in order to keep going, I compartmentalize. I more or less take those things and kind of put it aside, handle what I need to do, and then move on. All of us are multitaskers as women. We are wife, mother, caretaker, boo-boo fixer, grandmother in my case, and we have to do a lot of roles. So that even helps in my personal life to say, all right, today I've got to handle this, and then we'll move forward with that. So just kind of take things as they come, but enjoy each day. I could not live without chocolate. No, just teasing. I couldn't live without my husband. He is my best friend, my confidant, my rock, and if I didn't have him, I don't know where I'd be. He is there to support me, encourage me, tell me when I do things wrong, which we all need that. But he's my soulmate and the best friend I've ever had. So I could not live without my husband.
Three things that contributed to my success, I think, were challenges early on in my life. First of all, I attribute education as being a primary source for most of the good things that happen in my life. And I think education is something that everyone can count on. The second thing would be I've been a role model as the first member of my family on two sides to go to college and to have an opportunity for a career advancement. And this has been an impressive thing to put on my shoulders, but something I feel that has driven me and helped me set goals. And finally, the third thing that has been probably the most influential in my later life is the fact that we've moved around with my husband's career and have lived internationally as well as different locations within the country. And the fact that we were able to live in Mexico for 6 years with our family inspired us to learn about cultures, to make us feel where we were as Americans as well as our place in the world society. And I think that's a wonderful experience for anyone. I think I would recommend to people who are hoping to be leaders that the first skill that they really should work on is communication. And that would be not only speaking and listening and writing, certainly more than doing text work. You need to be able to express your thoughts, express your feelings, and be able to communicate. First of all, ask questions, and then second, listen, and then listen again, so that you hear on many different levels what people are saying. The other thing would be for women to say, I'm going to help other women, and I'm going to lift them as I am being lifted. I went to see the movie Wonder Woman, so I think I now want to be Wonder Woman. And pow, bam, and all that stuff. But she was a person created to conquer evil, and she was extremely strong mentally and physically. And besides being able to conquer evil, she was a person who could relate to others, have a commonality, and be sensitive to other people's emotions. So I think that's something that's a good thing for a leader to follow.
When things get tough, I honestly look backwards on some of the things that I've overcome in my life, including waking up one morning and being paralyzed from the top of my head to my collarbone for about 6 months. And the pain that came involved with that, and physical therapy and uncertainty, it was a pretty scary time. And to come through that when the odds were stacked against me were pretty significant to me in my life. And after that, anything, even on the toughest days, they seem pretty much a piece of cake to get through. So I look back on that and realize I can pretty much tackle anything and it's going to be okay. I think if I had to give any advice to women who were emerging as leaders in this time, I would advise them to lead not only with their head but with their heart. You're going to come across obstacles, and they're going to feel pretty unfair sometimes and pretty insurmountable, but how you handle those challenges is going to be important. Treat others the way that you want to be treated, and you'll receive that kindness in return. You are a role model for other young ladies coming up, and not just young ladies, anyone. And if you are presenting a leadership quality that you want to see in return, then you have to act in that manner as well. I could not live without my nieces. They are the brightest, happiest thing that's ever been gifted to me by my brother. Becoming an aunt was the best thing that's ever happened to me, and honestly, I do look at this role as part of the ATHENA role and just part of being an aunt as setting the stage for their future and trying to make the world a better place for them and make it easier for them as young ladies as they go into their professional lives.
I would tell myself, be confident in the decisions you make. Everything's a trade-off, but be confident with the decisions you make. I went to work part-time, I had my children, and I wasn't home all the time, and you always agonize over that decision. And now that my children are adults and they say complimentary things, and they look back at you as kind of a role model because you could do more than one thing. So that's what I would tell. Be confident in the decisions you make. Don't agonize over all of them. I think I would advise young women starting out in whatever they're doing is to be aware of who you are and what your qualities are. I think we're successful. I feel like I've been successful because in my practice I am who I am, and I'm a very outgoing person. I'm kind of warm and friendly, and a lot of times lawyers aren't that way, and I think I bring something unique to the practice because I am who I am and people relate to me that way. So I would tell young women, don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't think you have to be the stereotypical lawyer, accountant, insurance person. Most importantly, I couldn't live without laughter, love, and a good glass of wine.
Well, there was a man named Paul who wrote something a long, long time ago, and he said, whatever things are good, whatever things are honest, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure and lovely and of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. And those are words I live by because I think that there's just not enough good in this world. There's so much darkness, and we all need to be lights and to share the good things, share the good people that are around us, share about our good experiences and our wonderful world that we do have. There's just so much positive, and I believe in positive leadership and positive psychology, and I think that is what's going to make a difference in the world. For emerging women leaders, I believe it's important for them to remember to learn and to keep learning. They're never too old. Right now, they might be in the process of learning and think, well, once I get here, I'll be done. But I want to encourage them to continue to be lifelong learners and to not only learn about their community and about the different topics that they're interested in, but also to take time to learn about themselves and who they are and the things that they could do. And then also to love. I want them to think about doing what they love and being involved in things that they love in the community, but also to take time to love themselves and to work on taking time for themselves and regenerating, because oftentimes women do so much and we run ourselves dry, so they really need to love themselves. And then the last thing is to leave, and to leave a legacy. So they're doing all this learning, they're doing all this loving, and they really need to learn how to leave a legacy. So many times women don't want to share because they're worried about sharing all the good things that they know. And oftentimes in this world we know that people like to climb on top of each other, but I'd rather see people leaving a legacy and walking together and pushing people forward and helping them and lifting them up. So those are the 3 things I think they should know. If I were stranded on a desert island, I would want to have with me my 1965 Boy Scout manual. It's the best one apparently ever written, and I think that Boy Scout manuals are not just for boys, they're for girls too. A water purifier and a Bible.
Well, I would probably say, and I think this is actually a book, don't sweat the small stuff, because everything, most things, are small things. And I think in your 20s, definitely in your teens and into your 20s, you still worry about everything. And there is no need for that. Once you hit your 30s, that starts to go away, and by 40s, I feel like you're pretty in charge of things. It's a good place to be. The one thing I feel that I maybe slipped away from me in my 20s was because I didn't live near family and friends. I was pursuing my career in other states. I really lost touch with my younger cousins and nieces and nephews, and I really didn't get to see them grow up. I didn't have a lot of time to come home. So that's probably the one thing that I would say, try to hold on to those family members and those friends that are back home, no matter how busy or no matter how hard you're working at whatever you're trying to achieve. Lastly, I would say, try not to look back on your 20s and think that you had any regrets, because all of those things that happened to you, good or bad, shaped you into who you are today. 3 things I feel that are most critical to be aware of include knowing your stuff. When you go into any environment, take a little time to acquaint yourself with it, whether it's professional or personal. Do a little background, know what you're getting yourself into. Also, I would say, know when to say no. Too often, I know I'm definitely guilty of this, you try to be everything to everyone. And you're trying to be everything to your family, you're trying to plan all the family events, you're trying to take care, you go to your children's events, volunteer at school, be there for your husband. Know when to say no, because when you're spread way too thin, you're not helping anyone, especially yourself. You want to be that person who's really good at the things you choose to do. Lastly, I would say, be real. People can definitely see through when you're trying to put on a persona. Also, that's exhausting. Be who you are, and people will see the truth in you, and they'll love you. I cannot live without fresh air in the morning and Smucker's Chunky All Natural Peanut Butter.